In his beautiful message to begin this wonderful series of daily Elul Chizzuk, Rav Teretzky Shlita focused on the tremendous chus that is mechayev us during the period of Dorish Hashem b'matzav v'karov b'hiyoso karov to take advantage and be particularly vigilant in our avodas Hashem and our tshuva. He emphasized that, based on the insights of the Meiri, that this is not only true regarding Aser Simei Tshuva, but all of Elul is incorporated into this tremendous opportunity. While all of that is beyond a doubt and a beautiful message, there are many that raise the following issue with the entire concept. How could it be that there's a particular time in the year that is designated for getting close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and being Choser B'Tshuva? Is it not something that we have access to every day of the year? Should we not be always focused on that same goal? How could it be? And in fact, the very same Gemara in Rosh Hashanah brings down a pasuk from Dvarim that appears to be so ser, the idea of Dirshu Hashem b'yimatzo. Famous pasuk in Dvarim says, Ki migoy gadol shelo Elokim krovim elav ki Hashem Elokeinu bekol karenu elav. The implications of that pasuk is exactly our kasha. Every day we have this great access to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why should there be anything special about any particular point in time? The Gemara responds to the stira with a very, very almost dissatisfying response. Kan b'yachid, kan b'tzibur. As though, by a tzibur, that's the pasuk in Dvarim is referring to every day the tzibur has access to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But the yachid is limited. The yachid is really limited to the time of Aser Simei Tshuva. Not really fully satisfying in terms of the personal dilemma that is raised. The Meiri, who's sensitive to this, offers the following sort of pragmatic solution to that problem. He says, Ein achinami. It's true that hypothetically we would have access to HaKadosh Baruch Hu all year long. However, most people are very busy throughout their working lives and with all their different concerns and issues, and are not going to be able to properly focus on the type of concentration needed for genuine tshuva and genuine elevation in ruchnius. And therefore, by design, the system is set up with a separate period of time where they could focus more and take a break from their general activities. Perhaps we can offer an alternative solution that gives us a fantastic insight not only into the answer to our question, but a strategy for our personal development in our avodas Hashem. The Baalei Tosfos bring down a stira between two Gemaras that are discussing the ultimate judgment of an individual, the din v'cheshbon achar mea v'esrim. And what's fascinating about these two Gemaras is that they imply a certain seder ha'inyanim, that there is a certain sequence and order to the questions that a person will be asked. And yet the two Gemaras offer a sort of contradictory sequence. In Sanhedrin, it says, Ein ha'adam nidon ela al divrei Torah, but the Gemara in Shabbos has a different order. First, nasata v'nasata be'emunah, and only second does it talk about where you kovea itim l'Torah. So the Baalei Tosfos ask, what's the difference? Why is one putting Torah ahead of everything else, and the other one has it second? So there are many, many very fascinating answers offered to that stira, but I'd like to focus on something else. I remember many, many years ago, Rav Yitzchak Adler had a different issue with this entire discussion. And he said, why are we talking about Seder Advarim B'chlal? Who cares about an order or a sequence to the questions the persons will have to answer achar mea v'esrim? At that point, we're above time and space. There is no order to worry about. We have an infinite amount of time to deal with it. And therefore, Rav Adler, I remember, offered the following incredibly insightful take on that issue that is at the same time quite frightening. And he said the message of Chazal in these two Gemaras that suggest that there is a sequence and an order is for us to realize that in life, everybody has small decisions and choices to make that will be subject to din v'cheshbon. However, we all also have major decisions at certain periods and times in our life, not too many, but big ones, that supersede and affect all the other decisions. And therefore, a person has to realize that at those points in his life, it is critical, it is crucial to make the right decision because they can affect everything that happens afterwards. It's as though you come to a fork in the road. If you pick the right or the left, you might be picking the wrong one. If you pick the right one, everything after there is golden. If you pick the other one, it has a lasting impact on everything else. Rabbi Dessler offers a very similar idea when it comes to the issue that we are discussing initially. Rabbi Dessler says that when it comes to the idea that there's a special time for tshuva and a special time that we are given the schus and the chiyuv, as Rabbi Turetsky put it, to give extra special efforts, he said, that's because there are two types of bechira a person has, and they have to look at their life like a ladder. We all are on this ladder that goes from the bottom to the highest levels of kedusha. And the goal, of course, is to get up there. Most of us begin our lives somewhere in the middle. And on a day-to-day basis, we go up a step or down a step. And that's the most we can do with our individual choices on a day-to-day basis. But there is a period of time, Elul, Asar Simei Tshuva, where a person could make leaps, what he calls a bechira klalis. We can make a tremendous leap that changes the whole trajectory, the whole starting point for the year, and then will impact on every one of those little steps up and down for the rest of the year. And that's the significance of Elul and Asar Simei Tshuva.
כשהיו שומעים את שם השם המפורש יוצא מפי כהן גדול היו קוראים משתחווים ונופלים על פניהם ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד